The Miracle of the Andes, 72 Days in the Snow. Adapted from The Miracle of the Andes, 72 Days in the Snow, and An Unthinkable Choice, picture this. High above the snow-capped peaks of the Andes Mountains, a plane, a Fairchild FH-227, cuts through the crisp, thin air. Inside, the atmosphere is a mix of nervous excitement and camaraderie. The passengers, a spirited group from Uruguay's Old Christians rugby team, along with their friends and family, are en route to Chile. It's October 13, 1972, and there's no inkling of what's about to unfold. As the aircraft slices through the azure sky, it hits turbulence, a shuddering reminder of the imposing forces outside. Then, without warning, a cruel twist of fate stretches its icy fingers towards them. The plane is off course, and, before anyone can react, it kisses the jagged cliff faces of the Andes. There's chaos, deafening crashes, violent jolts, and then an echoing silence. The white wilderness surrounds them. The aircraft is crumpled, resting precariously at 12,000 feet, and the immediate reality is stark: survival against the steely embrace of a hostile environment. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows across the snow, the survivors are faced with a world of unforgiving cold and uncertainty. Before the disaster, the world of these passengers was vibrant with hope and sport. This flight was more than just a journey. It was a step towards an exciting rugby match in Chile. Friends joked, families shared stories, and a warm sense of community filled the cabin. Most were young, eager athletes poised for competition, their lives braided with threads of youthful invincibility. However, fate had its own darker agenda. This section of the Andes was notorious for its challenging conditions and unpredictable weather patterns, a fact known yet underestimated by the pilots and passengers alike. As the plane languidly climbed and veered, it inadvertently danced along the edge of a perilous tapestry of snow and rock. The air was thin, the temperature cold, but spirits remained high. This seemingly mundane flight was anything but. Now, their world before the crash seems almost woven from irony, a poignant reminder of how quickly comfort can plummet into chaos, how tranquility can shatter, unveiling the fragility of human plans. Among the survivors were Nando Parrado and Roberto Canessa, whose resolve would later become legendary. Each passenger on that ill-fated flight now faced the fight of their lives. For Nando, it was personal. The crash took his mother and sister. Rising from the shock and grief, he emerged as a natural leader, his heart set on turning despair into hope. Roberto Canessa, a medical student, found himself thrust into the limelight, his skills and empathy becoming vital as the group's health deteriorated. Together, they became symbols of an indomitable human spirit, a commitment to survival that transcended personal loss. Their story was woven with others, each individual playing a crucial role within the small, stranded community. The dynamics of leadership, morale, and mutual dependence painted an extraordinary portrait of human resilience. Here, in the icy cradle of disaster, emerged the raw, undiluted essence of survival, testing every boundary of human endurance and mental strength. The days stretched into weeks, and the thin air grew colder and cruel. But it was the 17th day that struck with unexpected ferocity. an avalanche that swept down the mountainside, covering the fuselage, claiming more lives and leaving the survivors even more isolated in their snow-bound grave. It was a damning blow, adding to their plight as they lay entombed in the crushing, icy darkness, until they crawled back to fragile light. The concept of rescue had become a cruel mirage. With dwindling rations, a fateful decision lay before them. It was unthinkable, yet an unspoken pact formed. A choice for life against the laws of society and divine order. Faced with starvation, they resorted to cannibalism, a taboo broken by necessity, pushing them to the fringes of humanity in the hope of clinging to life. Here, where reality distorted moral compasses, each choice rippled through the group's collective psyche. Desperation forced them to redefine survival beyond imagination, unyielding, even when cornered by death itself. Nando and Roberto, fired by an unquenchable spirit and the grim resolve to seek help, embarked on a perilous journey across the rugged, unyielding peaks of the Andes on December 20th. With makeshift gear and sheer willpower, they undertook a 10-day trek that bordered on the impossible. In a breathtaking climax, battling exhaustion and the endless sea of peaks, they stumbled upon Chilean shepherds, angels in an alpine desert. This meeting ignited a chain reaction that defied all odds, leading rescuers back to the crash site. With salvation at hand, 16 lives emerged from the grave of snow they called purgatory. The story roared across the globe, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Today, it stands as a beacon of how far humanity is willing to go to survive, questioning the very fabric of civilization's conventions and forcing a conversation about the limits of survival. This story, immortalized in print and memory, reminds us of the fragile balance between human will and nature's indifference, leaving behind a legacy as timeless as the mountains themselves.